Yeah, so I wanted to talk to you about this guy on YouTube that is going viral. This guy shoots a lot of hood videos. He does a lot of street stuff, but he ain't from the streets at all, period. But there's this YouTuber named Miko Worldwide. And this guy is known for doing a lot of videos in the Dominican Republic, for showing you the hoods. He goes to the grimiest parts. But this guy actually was charged with sexual assault and forced sodomy in 2018 in Georgia. They weren't able to arrest him, but he got charged. And somehow he knew the arrest was coming, so he fled Georgia, went to the Dominican Republic, and became a YouTuber. And he started doing all these YouTube videos, and his videos started to go viral. I mean, he's getting 50,000, 100,000, 200,000 views on a video while he's a fugitive of the state of Georgia. He's doing YouTube videos. So right there is kind of crazy off the bat. But what's really crazy is the charges that that I guess they hit him with. They hit him with forced sodomy and sexual assault. And the victim in that case was either 16 or 17 years old. And at the time of this case in 2018, Mikko Worldwide was 27 years old. So eventually he gets arrested in Colombia. They extradite him back to Georgia. He sits in jail he gets arrested in 2020. He sits in there for a little over a year, about 13, 14 months. And at that time, he decides to sign an Alford plea, which is basically saying you're guilty, but in the Alford plea, they dropped they took the forced sodomy out of it, but it's still that sexual assault. So he pled to that in the Alford plea just so he can get out. And he got out, and then he started his YouTube channel again, and all his videos been going crazy. But what really got me is that he decided to come visit LA. He did a video in the 60s, and he also went to Compton. He did a video in Gonzales Park and interviewed the homies from Fruitown, Peru. So my question about this guy is that, and there's a lot of rumors on the internet that this guy's a pedophile. And I guess that's just that's open to debate. That's open to interpretation.
Right, because of the statues of where he was.
He was in Georgia, and you could have consensual sex at the age of 16. So you have to be under 16 for it to be considered a minor. So in the court documents, he definitely had sex with this person, but he was 16 or 17 years old.
How old was he at the time?
27.
Okay.
So 10-year difference, maybe 11 years, depending. I'm not sure the month that the victim was born.
Right, 10, 11 years.
But he was either 16 years old or 17 years old when he had sex with this dude. There's no doubt he had sex with the guy. He admitted it in some court documents. So my thing is, when do you believe someone when they're trying to say they didn't do something or they're innocent? Like if this guy Miko was on a prison yard and he said, yeah, I pled guilty, but I didn't plead guilty to the forced sodomy with the 16-year-old, but I did plead guilty to the sexual assault. Does that change the way he's looked at when it comes to the prison politics?
Well, let's change the way he looked at. I'm going to go per individual, and I'm going to take me as one individual. So I'm going to look at him as sexual assault. That's going to make my ears go up immediately. I mean, you either took something or you ruffle somebody's feathers to get it. You know what I mean? It's assault that comes along with that sexual favor that you got. You know what I mean? And that's never a good look ever. You know what I mean? So I'm going to dive into some of the circumstances. If I can get the paperwork to show the circumstances that you had sex with a 16-year-old and you're 27, to me, you're a piece of shit. You know what I mean? That's just my personal feeling. But I really believe it's a whole bunch of other people that'll say the same thing.
Regardless of the law in Georgia.
Regardless of the law in Georgia. You know what I mean? Now, what you did was, you it wasn't a crime, but morally, dude, morally, you was wrong as hell. You know what I mean? So, sexual assault, period, though, is going to warrant people to be on your helmet. You know what I mean? You can't be out there, sexually assaulting people and then come to the yard and, and talk about you a gangster or this or that, and and that's just really how it is. Sexual assault gonna carry, you know, the jacket that you a pedophile, just period.
Even though in the state of Georgia, sexual consent is at 16, if a guy that's 27 years old has sex with a 16-year-old and he hits the prison yard, how would you look at that, and how would people that think like you look at that?
Well, we would look at it as he filed. You know, first off, he filed. Legally, he was within consent. You know, but you still sexually assaulted somebody. You still damn near you're a rapist. That's the term that's going to be used. That's just what it is.
Even though he wasn't charged, he didn't plead guilty to rape.
You in here for something. You did something. You wasn't innocent because you wouldn't be here. So listen? You know, and then this how will come at. Hold on, dog. Listen. What's the charge on your case? Sexual assault. Okay, you're a rapist. Okay, how much time did you get for? You know what I mean? I'm not going to even give you the opportunity to tell me about your auntie, cousin, brother, sister. You know what I mean? Your charge is sexual assault, and you're in prison. I don't care about what you pleaded, no contest, the Alford law, none of that. You're a rapist, bro. Go over there with the rapist, you know what I mean, and go, you know what I mean, mind you. Hold on. Was it a minor? Now, this is where he could beat me at. Was it a minor? No, it wasn't a minor. Because in the state of Georgia, for him, it's not a minor. If I was to find out she was he was a 16-year-old, you know, it was a minor to me. But unfortunately, once he said it was a he, not a she, then that changed the dynamics to me to just put you in the, you know, pretty much the gay rapist category, and I wouldn't even, you know, I would have to turn that over to somebody, you know, for that kind of situation, you know.
Well, let me explain what an Alford plea is to all of those that are listening, because Miko Worldwide, and his real name is Wolfgang Nichol, Michael Wolfgang Nichol, Miko Worldwide. He signed an Alford plea, and this is what an Alford plea is. An Alford plea in the United States is a guilty plea in criminal court where a defendant in a criminal case does not admit to the criminal act and asserts his innocence. In entering an Alford plea, the defendant admits that the evidence presented by the prosecution would likely persuade a judge or jury to find him guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Alford pleas are legally permissible in nearly all U.S. federal and state courts, but are not allowed in the state courts of Indiana, Michigan, and New Jersey, or in the courts of the U.S. Armed Forces. Okay, so did that kind of make it's a little confusing, right?
No, it's almost like a no contest, but it's a little different. You know, a no contest, you're just not pleading guilty. Alford plea, as you just explained, is saying that you're not.
But it says here you can assert your innocence.
Right, you can assert your innocence,
even though the prosecution probably has enough evidence to find you guilty.
Nah, I just wonder where they worded that one from and how did they come up with that one. But if your ass is in jail for it, you know what I mean? Somebody between you and that court felt, you know, you was guilty enough to be in prison.
Well, I wonder why the prosecutor, this happened in Gwinnett County for those that are interested in Georgia. If you feel that this guy is guilty, then why not just fully prosecute him? What is the purpose of having an Alford plea where someone that might be a sexual offender, might be a pedophile, gets to get out of jail? It's like a get out of jail free card.
You're absolutely right. You know, I that's why I say the wording of that and the structure of that, I don't know what the purpose is. You know, but because it was clearly, you know. Now, did he do any time?
Well, he sat in there fighting it for about 1 year and 2 months.
Mm-hmm. And he probably got time served or something.
Yeah, he did. He got time served for the lesser of the charges that he was facing. So the forced sodomy was off the table.
Right.
For the Alford plea. So basically, this guy can go online, as he does, and he says, no, I'm innocent. I didn't do any of that stuff. I'm completely innocent. And to a certain degree, the Alford plea allows you to talk that talk.
Yeah, but the Alford plea don't allow you to walk that walk. Because I'm going to say, dude, it says sexual assault here. You know what I mean? You sexually assaulted a man. You know what I mean? And just, I'm going to just be honest with you. We're going to call you a gay rapist. You know what I mean? Not that we have anything about, we just gonna call it what it is.
Thanks for watching this video clip of Streets and Scholars podcast with Alex Alonso and FG. If you want to listen to the entire episode, go to your favorite podcast platform and type in Streets and Scholars. And thanks for listening to another episode of Streets and Scholars.